Hare Krishna. So today I'm presenting uh, this presentation number 4, the glorious character of Vrtrasura, part of my four presentation series on Bhakti Vibhav course from Govardhan Eco Village, Wada. So the presentation theme of the presentation is the glorious character of Vrtrasura. I'd like to give short prelude that as it is depicted in the picture, Vishnu gave Narayan Kavach, and he also performed a sacrifice in which he was giving some share of the oblations to uh, to the party which was not supposed to be part of it. And when Indra could detect it, and Indra, he mercilessly afterwards he killed Vishwarupa, the priest. And Twasta, the father of Vishwarupa, became agitated because of that. Then Twasta, he performed a sacrifice to kill Indra, as a result of which Vrtrasura was born. He looked like a destroyer. When he was born, he looked like a destroyer of the entire creation, which was supposed to appear at the end of the millennium. Now, let me clarify in the beginning itself that this Vrtrasura demon was actually Chitraketu, who had uh, achieved the perfection as an associate of Lord Sankarshan. And due to an offense to Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, which was actually orchestrated by the Lord, it was the curse of Mother Parvati that he became a demon in the next birth. When he appeared, he was tall, was blackish, he was gigantic, sort of giant, he was lustrous, copper-like hair and beard, mustache. He had red eyes, red hot eyes, and he had a trident in his hand. He was holding a trident. And he was named Vritra, one who covers everything. He had such an imposing personality. Like in Sanskrit, all the names actually are derived by the appearance of that or some special attribute of that person. Now, the demigods with the soldiers, when there was a fight, and the demigods with the soldiers attacked Vrita in the when this fight between the demigods and demons started. And Vrtasur, he swallowed all their weapons. You can see this demon Vrtasur is appearing from the fire of that sacrifice. Now, the main objective of this presentation is not to describe the battle of this demigods and demons, but describe the glorious character of Vrtrasura. How Vrtrasura, although apparently he was a demon, but he was actually a devotee. Sometimes they say that great devotees only become great demons. Maybe because of the arrangement of the Lord. And because only they have that potency either to fight with the Lord or his servants. That's a part of the pastime. And he had such great qualities. As a great Kshatriya hero, Vrtasur was a great mind. I mean, sorry. Vrtasur was a great, he-minded hero. when he saw his army broken and all the demons fleeing in the battlefield, he he out of intense fear he smiled. He was very composed, just like Yudhishthir Maharaj. Like Yudhishthir Maharaj was sthir in Yudh. So he was also sthir in that Yudh, that battlefield, in that war. And he spoke as follows. He said, "Death is unavoidable, except glorious death instead of escaping from battlefield. Jatasya mrit जातस्य मृत्युर्ध्रुव एव सर्वत्र प्रतिक्रिया यस्य न चेह क्लिप्त लोको यशः चचाद ततो यदि हि अमुम को ना मृत्युम न वृणीत युक्तम." So he said, death is unavoidable and providence has not provided means to escape it. When you're bound to die and there is no way that the providence has provided you with so as to escape from death, then what is the use of escaping, running away, leaving the battlefield? It's just going to bring infamy. So he mentions in this verse that two types of glorious deaths are there. Only two types of glorious deaths. One is by engaging in yoga and leaving the body with mind absorbed in the Lord. And another is, second one is dying on the battlefield, leading the army and never showing one's back. So what is the use of showing our back to the enemy and fleeing from the battlefield? I mean, that was not acceptable to him. He was crying out loudly and calling all the demon friends, associates, Viprachitti, Namuchi, Puloma, Maya, Anarva, and Sambhara, please hear me. And thus he motivated. He was great-minded hero as a Kshatriya king. And, he was like, as they say, Kshatriyas, they have knowledge of both the Shastras and Shastras. Shastras is scriptures and Shastras is the weapons. So it's very much obvious that he was in the battlefield. So he was using his weapons, Shastras. And also when he mentions this point that two types of glories there, engaging in yoga and achieving the lotus feet of the Lord, this shows that he had such intense faith and devotion, dedication to this concept of meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord and leaving one's body in yoga. He was a yogi in a way. I mean, yogi on the battlefield. And then Vrtrasura chastises the demigods. He chastises demigods because, the demons couldn't accept the words of Vrtrasura. And then the demigods attacked. The demons could not accept the words of Vrtrasura, the commander, because they were fearful. They were just running away. They were intent upon fleeing. And demigods chased the demons. And Vrtrasura rebuked them with anger and intolerance. He said, attacking demons is useless. He said, these demonic soldiers, or you, the demigods, have come from their mother's bodies like stool. What is the benefit of killing enemies from behind if they are fleeing in fear? If it is inglorious and cannot bring one to heaven. Like it was considered not just infamy for that person to receive wounds on one's back, but also it was considered like infamy for a Kshatriya if he inflicted wounds on the back of his enemy. It was equally considered not very glorious for a Kshatriya to inflict attack on the backs of his enemies. So he rebuked them, and he said, like, stand before me for a moment if you have faith in heroism and patience in your hearts and no ambition for sense gratification, since I'm going to kill all of you. So this shows this mood of a true Kshatriya, not without any fear in his heart. And then Vrtrasura, he fighted with the demigods. Terrified the demigods, he started roaring in a resounding voice, resembling a lion. The demigods fainted as if struck with thunderbolt. And Vrtrasura trampled the demigods, and the demigods closed their eyes in fear. Vrtrasura taking up his trident and making earth tremble. Trampled the demigods like a mad elephant trembles hollow bamboos. Then Indra threw, as you will be seeing, you see in this picture how Vrtrasura was fighting, and Indra he seated upon his Aravat, elephant his career, and he threw his club, and how Vrtrasur he catched uh, with his left hand. And Vrtrasur then angrily struck, as you can see, he angrily struck uh, Erabat's head with the same club and roared loudly. For this heroic deed, the soldiers on both sides glorified him. Spitting blood from its broken mouth, Erabat was pushed back 14 yards along with Indra. Vritasur refrained from attacking. So this is, a very, very uh, subtle and very, very fine quality of a Kshatriya, that he follows the codes of Kshatriya warfare, the religious codes. Not like modern warfare, like they can just kill you without warning you, without any guards, and uh, they use any kind of weapon which is like biological weapon, or firearms or whatever. And the Kshatriyas in the previous ages, they used to fight by using these weapons. They were worshipped. Those weapons were worshipped, and they had a special code of religious warfare, Kshatriya Dharma. So Vritasur actually, when he refrained from attacking, seeing the condition of Eravat and Indra, he refrained. Because he was following religious principles, he refrained from again striking Indra with the club. Indra relieved Eravat with his nectar producing hand. So we can see that Vritasur refrained from attacking because he wanted to show that he was not just show, but he was actually a Kshatriya, a very religious Kshatriya, just like Bhishma Pitama, who followed all the codes of conduct which are expected from a Kshatriya on the battle. And then Vritasur chastised Indra. Remembering the sinful act of Indra, uh, Vritasur remembered how Indra actually had killed his elder brother, Vishwarupa, as I mentioned in the beginning, for uh, some activity which was not in favor of the demigods. And so, remembering that sinful act of Indra, Vritasur, his young brother, he said, Vritasur became mad with lamentation and bewilderment. Laughing sarcastically, he spoke as follows: that I will be free of the debt of my brother by killing you, O Indra, O abominable one. My enemy who has killed a Brahman, his spiritual master, my brother, is now by good fortune standing before. You acted like a butcher by mercilessly severing the three heads of my brother, who was self-realized, sinless, a qualified Brahman, your guru, and appointed by you as the chief priest only for the sake of living in heavenly planets. So according to Vrtrasura, Vrtrasura knew about the Dharma Shastra. So he said Indra committed a sin of killing a person who was self-realized, who was sinless, a qualified Brahman. He was Indra's guru. Vishwarupa was Indra's guru, and he was Vishwarupa was appointed as chief priest only for the sake of living in the heavenly planets. So they were in all five different designation or positions, actually uh, uh, which was conferred upon, or which was held by Vishwarupa. So Vishwarupa was such a worshipable personality, and with us trying to emphasize on the fact that actually Indra committed a grossly sinful act of killing all these five personalities, all these five. Like he offended, in a way he committed a big aparad of killing Vishwarupa, and thus he was sinful, gravely sinful. And uh, he said, vultures will eat your body, deprived of shame, mercy, glory, and good fortune by your own karmic reactions. You are even condemned by Rakshasas. Pierced with my pride, and even fire will not touch your body. And if other demigods follow you, I will kill all of them. And then, so when we read such things, when we come across such things, sometimes we get some kind of bewilderment that whether whether Vrtrasura is a demon or Indra is a demon. Actually, Vrtrasura was trying to uh, count the sinful activities of Indra. So you can see that Vrtrasura was a highly religious person. Apparently, he was in the body of a demon. So this is such a wonderful attribute of the glorious character of Vrtrasura. And then what happened? Vrtrasura became little spiritualized. I mean, he became little uh, affected by this higher principle of self-realization, and he started saying that, "But if you kill me and my soldiers, then I will be relieved of my debts in this world, offer my body to other living entities, Bhuta Balim, and attain the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees like Narada. Manasvinam Padaraja Pratatsahe." And your thunderbolt, Indra, your thunderbolt is infallible, and your victory is assured as it has been empowered by the prowess of Lord Vishnu and strength of the austerities of Dadichi. Now, as we might be knowing that his uh, uh, Indra's thunderbolt, Vajra, was actually empowered by Lord Vishnu himself. And Vishwarupa had already given him Narayan Kavach. So Indra's body was already, as we will see in the later slide, Indra was protected because of the Narayan Kavach, which was giving protection to each and every single part of the body of Indra. And also the strength of austerities of Dadichi, the body, the Vajra, that Vajra was actually made by the bones which were donated by Dadiji on the request of you know, uh, Lord Vishnu and the demigods, and that is why it was so powerful. And so we can see how Vritasur is not lamenting that what if I die, what if I'm not successful, because he was a devotee from his previous birth. Uh, all those prayers, all those samskaras, and all those high level realizations were still guiding him, were still protecting him, were still influencing his consciousness. He was a selfless, he was a uh, uh, no unmotivated karma yogi. I mean, he was not a. I mean, he was doing that karma as an offering to Krishna. He was just a yogi in the body you know, of a demon. But actually, he was a devotee, and he was just fighting as a service to Krishna and to set an example for others. That even if you are cursed, even if you are bound to suffer, but if your consciousness, if you maintain a consciousness of a devotee, and whichever condition you are, from whichever side you are fighting, but if you're a devotee, you are devoted to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord will still protect you. And like just like now this, I am I am remembering this pastime of Bhishma Dev, how even Bhishma Dev, apparently he was on the wrong side, and apparently he was a villain. He was an antagonist for the Pandavas. He was against dharma. He actually, he fought against Krishna and Pandavas. I mean, Lord and his devotees. He committed a Vaishnava Parad. In fact, he pierced the body, the soft body, the spiritual body of Krishna. But it was the desire of the Lord Krishna's desire. Bhishma Dev should fight from the side of Kauravas, because the Lord wanted to show that however powerful you may be, just like Bhishma Dev. I mean, he was the most powerful warrior of his time, and however powerful you may be, but if you fight against dharma and you're fighting for protecting adharma like Kauravas, still you will be defeated. A similar kind of example was being said by Vrtrasura, and that is his surrender. Actually, Prabhupada mentions in his purport, Bhaktivedanta purports, that actually Vritasur, when he was Chitraketu in his previous life, when he was cursed by Mother Parvati, he could have counteracted that curse. But out of humility, Trinadapi Sunichan, he accepted that curse and, some arrangement of the Lord, and then he took birth as a demon. So, so many things, so many instructions given by Vrtrasura, and actually Indra got bewildered. And your victory is assured. Why? Because Indra might have been thinking that Vrtrasura is cheating me. He will make the thunderbolt useless by his powers and again attack me. To reassure him, Vrtrasura said all those things about his thunderbolt, his Vanchana. Yato harer vijay shrir gunastataha. And what will happen to me? I will attain the destination of sages. By the force of a thunderbolt, I will be freed of the rope of material attachment, gramya pasha, and this world of material desires, apavidha loka. As Lord Shankarshan has said, I will fix my mind upon his lotus feet and attain the destination of great sages like Narad Muni. When Lord Shankarshan is pleased, he will not give the opulences of heaven. The Lord never bestows great opulences. Vritasur again says one thing, that the Lord never bestows the great opulences of heaven, earth, or the lower planets upon his dedicated servants. Ekant dhyam. For such opulences cause hatred and agitation, anxiety, pride, quarrel, calamity, and heart labor. And the Lord mercifully obstructs endeavors for Traivargika. What is Traivargika? Earth, Dharma, and Kam. Of course, moksha is also not desired by the devotees of the Lord, especially mukti, the sayujya mukti. But the four different types of mukti, that is salokya, samipya, sarishti, and sarupya, they are available for the devotees. But devotees don't desire that also. And then seeing that Indra did not throw the thunderbolt, Vrtrasura thinks, what will I do? Say to this rascal Indra, who sees everything materially. I will make a request to my Lord. Then seeing the Lord in his meditation, he says, now the main part of glorification of the glorious character of Vrtrasura is there. But Vrtrasura is offering exemplary prayers to the Lord. He says, Aham hare tava padik mule mula dasanudasa bhavitam se bhuya mana smarate sa supate gunamste grinita va karma karo tukaya. Oh my Lord, will I again? That is his lamentation. Oh my Lord, will I again become a servant of your eternal servants whose shelter is a lotus feet? May my mind always think of the transcendental attributes of the Lord of my life. May my words always glorify those attributes, and may my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship. Can we expect a demon? I mean, someone in the demon's body to offer such prayers? How do we define Sur and Asur? One who's a devotee of Lord Vishnu, he is Sur, he is a demigod, he is a devotee. And one who is not a devotee or he's against Vishnu or his devotees, he is Asur. So this verse, the very first prayer of Vrtrasura, proves that he is a Sura. He is a devotee in the body of demon. The Lord might say, I will give you all the results, including heaven liberation. And then Vrtrasura says, I don't want anything that means separation from you. Na nakaprishtam na cha paramaishtyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadhipatyam na yoga siddhira punarbhavam va samangja satva virahaya kangse. I do not desire the enjoyment of Dhruvaloka, the heavenly planets, or the planet of Brahma, nor do I want to be the supreme ruler of all earthly or lower planetary systems. I do not desire to be a master of the powers of mystic yoga and don't want liberation. Burning in separation from you, the source of all opportunities, none of these things will satisfy me. He gives three examples of how he is longing for the Lord. I earn to serve you unceasingly. Ajata paksha iva matram khagaha satstanyam yatha vatsataraha kshudara artha priyam priyeva visitam vishanna mano aravindaksha didikshate tvam. As baby birds, without the three analogies given by Vrtrasura, first is of birds, as baby birds without developed wings always seek shelter of their mother to feed them, as hungry cows await anxiously to drink the milk of their mother cows, as a morose a wife whose husband is away from uh, uh, home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all respects. I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you, O lotus-eyed Lord. Becoming humble, Vrtrasur thinks of how could he ask for such a privilege. So he asked for favors in this world. For the first example of a baby bird, the Lord may say, I will give you heaven, but Vritasur does not desire anything except the Lord's sweetness. So he gives another example of a calf, but calves also desire their own happiness. Not satisfied with this example, he gives another example of a wife. Just as a wife desires to make her husband happy with all her senses and desire happiness for her by her husband's beauty, sweet voice, qualities, action, joking. Vritasur wanted to serve the Lord and also be satisfied by the Lord. And then he says, give me the association of the devotees, just like Parikshit Maharaj. Mamottasam shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakre brahmata swakarmabhi tvam mayayatmachat darakeheshva asakta chittasya nanatha bhuyat. I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. As I'm wandering in this material world as a result of my fruitive activities, let my mind not be attached to my body, wife, children, and home under the spell of your Maya. This makes us remember of the various prayers of previous acharyas, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Other, Vrita is actually, and then Vritasur fights. This now the time of final fight comes, and Vritasur decides that now he should, get relieved of this body. And then Vritasur fights with Indra. Vritasur attacks Indra. Desiring to give up his body, he attacks Indra, considering death in the battle preferable to victory. Vritasur attacked Indra with his trident, just as Kaitab had attacked the Lord when the universe was inundated. Madhuke. And he threw his trident, and he said, "O sinless one, thus I shall kill you." And you know what? In Vritasur after Vritasur threw his trident, denizens of various planets praised Vritrasur's deed, because Vritrasur, although one of his arms was cut off because of Indra's Vajra, he still with one hand struck Indra on the jaw with an iron mace. He also struck Airavat. Thus, Indra dropped the thunderbolt from his head. And the denizens of various planets, they praise Vritrasur's deed. Vritrasur encouraged Indra by saying, "Take up your thunderbolt and kill your enemy. This is not time for lamentation." Vritrasur enlightens, discourages Indra. He says, continuous victory against the enemy is possible only for the devotee, Lord, or those dependent on him. And time controls. Now, this is the cream, this is the essence of the instructions given by Vritrasur. And this, elicits the glorious character of Vritrasur. That time controls all living entities in all planets, including the presiding deities, like birds are caught in the net. Time is the cause of victory or defeat. Lokasapala yashe me savarsanti vivasavasi vija ivasicha bandha sakaila ihe karanam. Now can say this is even Hiranyakashipu, when Hiranyaksha was killed, he also gave so much highly philosophical arguments and so many piece of advice to his believing, his grief-stricken family. But actually, he had no realization. He never acted like this. But Vritrasur, when he was instructing Indra, twice he instructed Indra, gave his instructions, his teachings, and I would say his teachings, his realizations are his teachings. But he actually meant it. He had realized it from his previous birth. And also he acted like this. He didn't act like a demon or an enemy of Krishna, of Vishnu. And time controls everything. Sensory ojah, sabah, ojah, saha, balam, pranam, amritam, mrityum. So sensory prowess, mental power, bodily strength, living force, mortality, and death. Time controls everything. All living entities are under control of the Lord. Yatha darumai nari, yatha pratramayo mrika, evam bhutani magavan, isha tantrani vidhi bhuh. And then he gives the example of a wooden doll of a woman as an animal or in the blade of grass is under the control of a puppeteer. All living beings are under the control of supreme control. Without the Lord's mercy, the three purusharthas, prakriti, mahatattva, the the three purushas, prakriti, mahatattva, the false ego, the five material elements, the material senses, the mind, intelligence, conscience cannot create the material manifestation. And ignorant fools thinks themselves uh, uh, as the creators, Ishwaram, although they are dependent on the Lord. Good or bad, it depends on time. Ayuk Shri Kirtil Aishwaryam Ashishah Purushasya Yah Bhavanti eva hi tatkale yathanichor viprayarho. The law, it is a Lord who creates and devours all living beings. Good or bad depends on the on on good or bad depends on time uh, and what is the vision of liberated persons? Sattvam rajas tama iti prakritirnatmano guna tatra sakshinam atmanam yove dasana badhyate. And see my example, even though I have been defeated and with my weapon and arm cut to pieces, I'm still trying my best to fight without being morose. Therefore, one should be equipoised. One should be equipoised in fame and defamation, victory and defeat, happiness and distress, life and death. Tasmad akirti yashasor jaya pajayororapi samhasya sukha dukhabhyam mrityu jivitayos tatha. Consider this battle a gambling match in which our lives are at stakes. The arrows are the dice and animals acting as carriers at the game board. Indra praised Vrtrasura by saying that he is a perfect devotee and that he has surmounted Lord Vishnu's Maya and that he is in Shuddha Sattva is a great wonder. He also said in the reference to Vrtrasura that devotees swim in the ocean of nectar. Yasya bhaktir bhagavati haro nichariya swarhe vikridato amritam bodho kim shudrera hata kudaye. And then finally, Indra kills Vrtrasura. After fierce battle, Indra is followed by Vrtrasura due to the protection of the Narayan Kavach and his own potency. He comes out of the abdomen of Vrtrasura and cuts Vrtrasura's head. Now, it took 1 full year for Indra to kill him. I mean, for 1 full year, 365 days, Indra with his Vajra was just cutting like a, like we use that saw to cut some wooden piece. And here we can see that Indra is this picture so beautifully depicted from Bhagavatam that how Indra is cutting the neck of Vrtrasura. But actually, the Acharya mentioned that Vrtrasura, Srila Prabhupada also has mentioned in his Bhaktivedanta purpose that Vrtrasura was already in trance when Indra pierced the abdomen of Vrtrasura, and Indra took taking advantage, cut the neck of Vrtrasura. Actually, it was the body left by Vrtrasura that was cut by Indra. Vrtrasura was not killed himself, but he returned back to Godhead and he became an associate of Lord Sankarshan. Vrtrasura, when he realized that what is the use of fighting, and he had actually, Vrtrasura actually given up his body by his yogic trance, and his body was just left. And Indra was just cutting the body left by Vrtrasura, that great personality, and he didn't actually kill. Vrtrasura actually not killed by Indra, and Vrtrasura he just returned back to Godhead, and he became an associate of the Lord Sankarshan as desired by him. Vrtrasura's apparent killing was followed by